Hi everyone, Charlene Ortiz here. Today I'm going to be discussing the infamous Amberlyn Reid. For those of you that are normal subscribers to my channel, I'm sure you have absolutely no idea who she is. And so you're still welcome to keep watching this because you'll probably be very intrigued by this video and some of the things that I have to say about this individual. But obviously, most of the people watching this probably clicked because of the title and are most likely people that have been following her for a while and are part of kind of this, I guess, community that we've developed as far as reacting to her, watching videos about her, what have you. I'm a personal trainer, and I have been specializing in working with people with disabilities, chronic illnesses, and limitations for the past 20 years. And included in that demographic are people that are morbidly obese. And so that's one reason why this girl has really sparked my interest. And why she showed up on my recommended one time, because I do like to watch a lot of videos. I like to watch my 600-pound life clips. I like to watch videos or channels of people that are on a weight loss journey and at one time were very obese, or they're, you know, they're at the point where they're really working hard to get to a point where they're healthy. And I really love to watch those types of channels because it does help me kind of understand that demographic even better. From a different perspective. So that's one reason why I really enjoy watching those types of videos. So she popped up on my recommended. Actually, no. It wasn't her video. It was a video that Michael B. Petty did. And I'm sure everybody watching this knows who Michael B. Petty is. And it was a video that he did about 6 months ago. And so I clicked on it and started watching, and immediately I got sucked in and I was intrigued immediately. Because the way that he was talking about this girl was just really mind-boggling to me, because it was hard to believe that there was somebody out there that at the time she was a little over 500 pounds, but that there was somebody out there that was, number one, that large, and number two, kind of in denial, and even almost comfortable being that weight. And so once I started watching her, like many of us, I just got sucked into the rabbit hole and started to discover so much more about this individual, and the rest is history. I have been following her, and actually I've been following the people that do reaction videos to her. I've been following I guess just her story and her life ever since. So I just wanted to give my perspective on somebody like Amberlyn Reid, being someone that has worked with that demographic for so many years. One thing that I do understand is the food addiction that a lot of people that suffer from morbid obesity struggle with. Now, a lot of us, you know, struggle with the ability to have self-control when it comes to eating. And certainly, you know, these days, the average American is about 40 pounds overweight. So I think we all, to some degree, enjoy going to food for comfort. But the majority of us are able to tell ourselves to stop when we start to see our body going a certain way where we can't function as well, we're not fitting into our clothes anymore, we're just not feeling good. And at some point, most of us can kind of say, hey, you know, I think that that's enough. I need to stop, or I need to start exercising, or I need to start eating healthier. Most people are able to have some type of self-control. But people that are morbidly obese do not have that type of self-control. Thus is why they're morbidly obese. And there are many reasons that people become overweight. It isn't always just laziness or what have you, especially being someone that's worked with people that have chronic illness. Certainly I've worked with a lot of people that at one time were in really great shape and quite active, and then they got sick. And then they ended up gaining a lot of weight. But that's all. Actually, that's a whole nother video. I actually am going to do a video on that at some point. But either way, people. So I've always, been able to have a lot of empathy and compassion for people that really suffer with food addiction to an extreme degree. And obviously, Amberlyn Reid is somebody that falls into that category. Now, I've never worked with somebody as heavy as her. I believe now she is 560 something pounds. At least that's what she says. I personally think she's already hit 600 pounds. It might even be over that. That's just my perception. I'm not saying that I know that for some reason. I don't know that, but that's just from my perception of her. I think she's probably already reached over 600 pounds, but obviously we won't know unless we see it. But I've never worked with somebody quite as large as her. The largest person I've ever worked with was like 480 something pounds. And I have never worked with somebody that has the type of thinking, the mindset, the psyche that she has. Never. And also, another thing that really intrigues me is why people are so interested in watching her. And I have never seen anyone that is such a small YouTuber get so much attention and so much hate. And I use those quotations because what people say what she gets is hate isn't always hate. Sometimes it's just sincere concern and just frustration. But I have never seen anybody have somebody do so many reaction videos, have so many channels pop up that are dedicated to talking about her, doing compilations videos of her. I have never seen anybody get that much attention that's such a small YouTuber. Because it's normal to see that with someone like Jake Paul or Onision or somebody like Tana Mojo. A lot of these really big YouTubers with millions of subscribers. Sure, it's normal to see a lot of reaction videos, a lot of hate videos, whatever. But but they're huge. They're really big channels. But I have never seen it with somebody that has less than 100,000 subscribers. And it's just crazy to me that she has that type of impact and that type of effect on the YouTube community and the people that follow her. And I have thought about why, for me personally, I'm so intrigued, and why I think a lot of other people are intrigued. I think we're intrigued by her the same way that we're intrigued, I guess, by people that are schizophrenic, by people that are sociopaths, maybe people that are like severe drug addicts, like that show Intervention. A lot of people like to watch Intervention. I think we're intrigued by her because she is so far removed from reality. And she is so far from how a normal functioning member of society behaves. Well, number one, the fact that she's 600 pounds. Obviously, most people, it's very rare to see somebody that is that large. And number two, just to see the amount of delusion and self-denial that she lives in is just, it's mind-boggling, and it's really astonishing. And I think that's why people are so intrigued with her and why we watch her, because for us, it's kind of like, wow, there's a person out there that exists that's like that. That's crazy. There's somebody out there that lives that way, and it's real. And it's, it's like watching a lot of these reality TV shows and how they, dramatize it. And people get sucked in, and a lot of times, when it comes to reality TV and those types of shows, they want to find the craziest, most bizarre people because they know that will attract an audience, because people are intrigued by things that are different and very far removed from their own life, or even far removed again from how a normal member of society lives and behaves. And the reason why we get sucked in is because there's so many bizarre and crazy things that happen, and we want to tune in the next episode to see is something even more bizarre and crazier going to happen. And that's how it is with Amberlyn Reid. We tune in because we want to see, is she going to top the lies that she told last time? Is she going to be more narcissistic and manipulative this time than the last time? Like, can she go any further? Can this get any crazier? And I think that is the main reason most people tune in, and that's why she has so many subscribers. And it really is like watching a train wreck. It really is, because her life is just completely in pieces. I mean, she just has such a ridiculous life. And she has also a very sad life, a very purposeless life. And I think, again, for most of us, you know, just seeing what a mess her life is just, again, it's astonishing. And for us, it's just like, wow, you know, I can't believe that there's somebody that lives like this every single day. A lot of people get really frustrated with her lies because she has been caught in many, many lies. And lies that people have been able to prove. You know, I saw a video recently about, she did her coming out story. And I forget who the YouTuber was, but they had basically put two videos together. The story she told several years ago and a story she told last year, and they were completely different stories. Obviously, the biggest one is the rape allegation towards her ex-girlfriend. Well, I know he identifies as a man now, but I think that he identified as a woman when they were dating. But correct me if I'm wrong with that one, but I'm not sure. But I know that he does identify as a man. But she accused him of raping her, which is a very serious allegation that can completely destroy somebody's life. And it's just, you know, for a lot of us, we just get so frustrated because she doesn't think about the damage that she's doing when she makes up all these elaborate lies and stories. The BetterHelp one, the dietitian story, and now most recently the doctor story, which nothing adds up, nothing makes sense. And again, there's just so many holes in a lot of her stories and things that just don't add up, that now for most of the people that watch her, it's obvious that she's lying. And I think that's another one that blows us away, is that she, for some reason, and again, I don't know why. I don't know what's not clicking. For some reason, she thinks that we're still going to believe these blatant lies that are so obvious. And to me, that is what's one of the things that's the most fascinating about her, is that she's so far removed from reality that she really believes that people are going to believe her. And it's like she lives in she's created a fantasy world for herself where she's a victim and nothing is her fault. And she has a lot more supporters than she thinks she does. And she has these experiences that she's never had. Or she elaborates and makes all these grandiose stories about something that wasn't really that as crazy as she said it was. So I think that, again, that's one thing, at least for me personally, that's one thing that really just intrigues me about her, is that, you know, she lives in a reality that only she believes to be true. Because I do think a lot of the lies that she tells, I do think that she does believe a lot of them. Like, she's convinced herself that this is true and this is how my life is and this is reality. And I think that the reason she does that is because she's dug such a huge and deep pit for herself that it's easier for her to live in a delusional mindset. It's easier and it's less painful than for her to accept, wow, you know, look at what I've created. I've created a huge community of people that absolutely despise me, that see me as a narcissist, a liar, see me as being manipulative and greedy and lazy and unwilling to take responsibility. Like, she doesn't want to admit that that is what she has created. Like, this is a reflection of her and her own behavior. And I think another thing too that's very interesting is why she is this way. Like, what has caused her to be the type of person that she is today? What happened to her in her childhood? What happened to her when she was growing up, when she was in high school? When, like, what happened? Like, what did her parents teach her? What type of home environment did she grow up in? What did she witness? And I think that's another thing. It's because it's a mystery to everybody, because she never talks about it, and there's a reason she never talks about it. Maybe it's too painful. Maybe it's just memories she's erased from her mind. I don't know. But I do wonder, like, what has happened to this girl, and what's sequence of events has gotten her to a place where she just lives in a reality where she's a victim and she never has to take personal responsibility for her choices. That it's always somebody else's fault, and she's a victim to the haters. I don't know. And, you know, sometimes I feel like, and this is going to sound bizarre, sometimes I wonder what it would be like to be in her brain for like a day. And maybe, you know, I would understand. Maybe I would understand why she's this way. And personally, I am convinced that she is absolutely miserable, that she hates her life. Because when you're in a body that is 600 pounds, there is nothing worse than being imprisoned in a body that does not function and that is in constant pain. I know that personally and for a fact. Because when I was initially, before I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia 10 years ago, and I initially started to get sick, and I started to experience the fatigue, the extreme muscle pain, the symptoms of feeling like I have the flu, just, you know, everything that comes with fibromyalgia. But for me, one of the main symptoms I get is pain in my legs. And oh my God, sometimes it's just excruciating. Like, my legs just ache and burn. And it can be very discouraging living in a body that is so limited. And I remember during that time, I was very depressed. And I would pray every night that God would take my life in my sleep. And I didn't have the guts to commit suicide, and I knew I would never be able to do that. So I prayed that I would die in my sleep, because I really didn't want to live another day in a body that was in constant pain. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Amberlyn does every night. You know, because although I was in pain, my life wasn't as bad as hers is right now. Where, again, she's seen as a joke by so many people. You know, she's made fun of a lot. And she's just become a mockery on YouTube. She doesn't really have anybody that supports her. Most people just despise her and think she's ridiculous. And I didn't have to live with that. I was only dealing with my physical pain. I wasn't dealing with, you know, thousands, tens of thousands of people that felt this way about me. You know, I wasn't dealing with a lot of the, I guess, just the emotional and the mental how she's so limited mentally. Not that she's like, special needs or anything. I mean just with her ability to live, to take responsibility, and to be able to see her life for what it is. I didn't have that struggle. So I can imagine that it's 100 times harder for her than it was for me when I was going through that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Amberlyn every night prayed that God would, I don't know, well, I don't even know if she believes in God, but every night she wished she would die in her sleep. And is disappointed when she wakes up the next morning, because that's how I felt. I felt disappointed a lot of times when I woke up, because I felt like I can't live another day like this. And I think that, again, she has dug such a deep pit for herself. She just does not know how to get out. She has told so many lies, and she has made so many horrible choices in her life. I feel like she probably doesn't think there's any way back. I am the type of person that I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I believe no matter how far gone somebody is, they always have, if they're still alive, if they're not dead, they have a chance to come back. They have a chance to rectify themselves. They have a chance to turn it around and change their life and start making better choices. I don't believe that she's doomed. I don't believe that there's no hope for her. I believe that, absolutely, she could change her life. She could start to lose the weight. She could start to take responsibility. She could, just fess up to her audience and say, you know what, guys, I know I'm so full of shit and I'm sorry. Most of what I've told you guys is a lie, but from here on out, I'm going to be straight with you. Because one thing about the internet and people, that follow her, what have you, people are forgiving. People are very forgiving, and they have a short memory. So I believe that if she really did just try to just make 180-degree change, where she really started making a lot of effort, stop doing these grotesque mukbangs. Oh my God. Watching her do a mukbang is just, it's so uncomfortable to watch. And it's infuriating, because I just want to, go through the screen and strangle her. Like, what are you doing? It's like watching a heroin addict shoot up. It really is. And the fact that YouTube allows it, it blows, it's beyond me. But if she stopped doing that, then I think people would turn around, because a lot of people, this is the people that have sympathy for her. What they don't understand is that a lot of the people that criticize her now used to support her, and they cheered her on, and they wanted to see her do well. Like Michael B. Petty was somebody that used to support her. Shaquana Jefferson, her channel, she used to support her. A lot of people, Life of a Free Spirit used to support her. A lot of people that now do reaction channels to her used to support her, and they used to, have hope and felt encouraged to see somebody that they could relate to, that struggled with their weight, that was honest about their challenges. And, a lot of people do enjoy seeing that. They're inspired by that when they see someone who's like them, that struggles with their weight, and they're working really hard, to try to make changes. And they're also being honest about the things that they struggle with. People really love to see that, because it helps them. It helps them push themselves. It helps them be inspired to motivate themselves, because they think, well, if this person can do it and they struggle with the same things I do, so can I. I can do it too. And that's why a lot of people in the beginning did support her. But again, once they started seeing the drastic weight gain, because she's gained, I think over 200 pounds, a little over 200 pounds since she started her channel. And again, the lies, the manipulation, the narcissism, the way that she treats her girlfriend, who has also just gained just an incredible amount of weight. Oh my God. Like Becky just looks, oh, I mean, she looks massive. She looks massive. Her facial structure is completely gone. I mean, both of them, their facial structure is gone. And like Becky's facial structure, again, it's just, when you start to get to a certain weight, you start to look deformed. You start to look the way that a human is not supposed to look, that a normal individual is not supposed to look. And they're both starting to look, their bodies, their faces are starting to look deformed. And it's really sad, especially because I think Amberlyn is a cute girl. In her early videos, when you could see her facial structure and she had, you know, more definition in her neck, I thought she was really cute. I did. And it's really sad to see just the damage that she's done, how much she's destroyed her body, her and Becky. And the reality is, if she does start making the effort, and I really hope that someday she does, but if she does start making the effort and she does lose 300 pounds, unfortunately, her body will never look like a normal body. She has done damage that is irreversible. Certainly, obviously, she could have skin surgery. A lot of people do, and it does make a huge difference. But she will never look like somebody that hasn't done that to their body, or somebody who maybe gained 100 pounds or were 100 pounds overweight. Even that much overweight, you know, does damage. But sometimes you can come back from that and, you know, get your body, and your body can, you know, look normal, whatever. But somebody that is 400 pounds overweight, she's done damage to her body that she'll never be able to have a normal body. And to me, it's such a tragedy. Amberlyn Reid is a tragedy because she's so young. And the fact, and what's so ironic to me, you know, because she is very greedy. She's very greedy. I mean, obviously everybody sees that she puts 7 or 8 ads in all of her videos. And for her, it's all about the money. And the tragedy is that, or what's ironic, is that if she really started making the effort to make the drastic changes that she needs to make, and she needs to make drastic changes, her channel would blow up. If people saw her, imagine if she was 100 pounds lighter a year from now. Imagine how much her channel would blow up. Imagine how much people would be inspired. Well, she could be 200 pounds lighter a year from now. If she lost like 20 pounds a month, which for her would be easy, because when you're that overweight, when you have that much excess fat, your body is willing to let go of the fat because there's so much of it. Because your body, fat is like a savings account for your body. That if there's a famine or a drought, that you'll survive if there's no food. And that's, you know, your body naturally wants to store fat, and the more fat, the better. It's kind of the way your body sees it. And so it sees it like a savings account. So if you have like a lot of fat, like as if you have a lot of money, you know, you feel more liberal about spending it. And the same, you know, when it comes to losing weight, when you're that obese, when you have that much excess fat, the body is a lot more comfortable letting go of a lot of it at one time. And I actually wrote an ebook about that. It's called Why Your Body Loves to Be Fat. And you can find a link in the description. It's a short ebook. It's like $3. But I go in more into depth about why our bodies love to be fat. And so it's not, you know, it's hard for anybody, you know, to lose weight and to maintain, you know, a body that is, you know, at a healthy weight. It's really difficult because it kind of goes against what our body wants to naturally do. But anyway, I mean, people would be so inspired. And even the people that are her haters would turn around. I really believe that. Even Michael B. Petty said, I would love to see her do well. You know, we all would love to see her do well. And I do believe, of course, there are people, you know, in the whole Amberlyn community. Of course, there are people, I'm sure, that just hate her. Because, I don't know, there are people out there that just, they hate fat people. They want to see bad things happen to people. They enjoy watching somebody's life fall apart. They have no compassion or whatever. I mean, I'm sure there are people that really do like hate her. But if she did start doing well, they would probably be angry. But for the most part, the majority of people that don't like her don't hate her. And it's more just a frustration. And I think that if she really did start making those changes, people would turn around. I really do. So I don't know. I don't know if I could ever work with Amberlyn Reid because she's so, again, she's so far removed from what reality is. And you can't help somebody like that. You know, I can help somebody that's 1,000 pounds if they understand that where they're at is very serious and they're ready to start making the changes, and they're going to be honest with me about how much they're eating. Are they trying to make an effort to exercise and be active? I can help somebody at any weight. It doesn't matter how large they are. If they're willing, if they're mentally ready for that. And for her, I think she would need a team of people to help her, because she doesn't know how to lose weight. And she'll often say, well, I know how to eat. Well, I know what to do. No, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Because you've never been in good shape. You've never been at a healthy weight. Never. It's like me saying, like, I've never been financially wealthy. I've never had money. Never. I've never been good at promoting myself, or I'm not a very business savvy person. So it's like me saying, well, if I wanted to be a millionaire, I would be a millionaire. I know how to be a millionaire. No, I don't. I never have been. Maybe someday I will be, but I don't know how to get there. I need help. I need advice. I need guidance from somebody that has been there, you know? And if she was somebody that at one time was an elite athlete or was in really good shape, was very active, and then she gained a lot of weight, sure, okay, I would buy it. Yeah, you know how to eat, you know what to do because you've done it before. But if you've never done it before, you don't know how to do it. And she needs help. She needs a personal trainer. She needs a nutritionist or a dietitian. And she needs a therapist or a mental health expert. She needs a team of people that are going to be able to help her. And she needs to do a medically supervised weight loss program where she'll get blood taken regularly. She'll be weighed regularly. Her body fat will be tested regularly. She needs to do something of a stress test. She wouldn't be able to do like a traditional one. But in order for her to lose weight and get back on track, she does need a team of people to help her because she has no clue how to do it. And she has a lot of issues that she needs to work through as far as psychologically, a lot of issues. And that's what would be necessary in order for her to make drastic changes. And the changes need to be drastic. As far as what the dietitian told her with the 2,500 to 3,000 calories, sure, I don't know if the dietitian exists, or I don't know. That's still a mystery and it's kind of controversial, but I would not put her on a 1,200 calorie diet. I certainly wouldn't do that, because when you are helping somebody that does have a severe food addiction, one of the worst things to do to an addict in most cases is to just completely take away the drug that they have And that's one reason why a lot of people that are addicts are afraid to go to rehab, because they don't want to go through the withdrawal. Of course, you don't go through withdrawal from food like you do from opiates. If anyone's ever had to withdraw from opiates, you know that that is hell. But, you know, you don't have those types of symptoms with food, but still it's psychological. And your body does release dopamine when you eat, and they get addicted to that release of dopamine. And so when it comes to a food addict, you can't just kind of take everything away. It does have to be a process, but I personally would not have put her on a 2,500 calorie a day diet. I would tell her she needs to stop eating out immediately. Instead, I would work on helping her learn how to cook foods at home that she enjoys, something that she's going to like and she'll enjoy eating. But I would tell her that eating out needs to stop. Because, again, you need to take away the temptation. Like, you need to take those things away. I would go grocery shopping with her. I would, tell her what she needs to buy, what's going to help her. So it definitely is a process, and it's something that it takes time. It's hard for people when someone has been has had such bad behaviors for so many years. Breaking those behaviors and breaking those habits, it's really hard to do. And people will relapse, and they will fall on occasion, but it's okay. You just kind of, wipe yourself off, say, all right, I messed up, but I'm going to, keep going. I'm going to let that go. So if I were to work with someone like her, that's somebody that in the mindset and with the psyche that she has, that's what I would recommend, is that, that it's medically supervised, that she has a nutritionist, that she has a mental health expert helping her, and that we all cooperate with each other. With her permission, especially with the mental health. But, I think that's what she would need to make the drastic changes that she needs to make. And I think that because her situation is so scary, she really just... she's too afraid to look at it. She's too scared. And I get that in terms of, like, with other things. Like, for example, I've struggled with learning disabilities throughout my life. And I really struggled when I was in school. And I remember when it was time for me to look at my grade, I just would get this feeling of panic. Like, how did I do? Did I fail? What have you? So looking at the reality of my grades was really scary for me. And I think for her, of course, that's not as serious as what she's dealing with. I think for her, looking at the reality of how bad and how close she is to death is too scary for her to look at. And that's why she just kind of blocks it out. She kind of, sort of will say that she understands, but she doesn't. If she did, it would terrify her. If she really understood how close she is to death, she would be terrified. Now, that brings me to another point in terms of why I think she might not have a desire to change, because she, clearly, from what we've seen, she has no desire to change. And I feel like she may be resolved to the fact that she's going to die. Maybe she has looked at it, and maybe she, again, has just, realized that I'm so far gone. I have developed this huge community of people that despise me and just, think I'm a joke. I'm making all this money, so I can buy things that I have never been able to afford to buy. It makes me happy. And it's almost like, it's almost like she's just enjoying her life the best she can until she dies. And it reminds me of a character in a movie called Leaving Las Vegas. And I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. It's a pretty old movie. I think it came out 20 years ago. It has Nicolas Cage, and he's an alcoholic. and he can't control his drinking. Like, he's a massive, severe alcoholic, and he gets fired from his job because of his alcoholism. He's not performing well at work, but they give him like a severance, you know, that he can live off of. And it's a pretty good amount of money. And he decides that he's going to go to Las Vegas and just drink himself to death. He makes a conscious decision. I'm just going to go and drink myself to death. And has no desire to change, doesn't want to change. And it's just at peace with the fact that he's going to die and he's going to do what he loves until he dies. And she kind of reminds me of that character. And I wonder if maybe that's where she's at, and that's why she's acting like this, because maybe she just feels like, well, I'm going to die. You know, I feel like it's too late for me, so I don't care. I don't care what people think of me. I don't care what I put out there. I just don't care. If that is the case, that is tragic. That is tragic, because she is only 28 years old. And God, it's devastating, you know, because, you know, to be this young and to be 600 pounds and immobile. I mean, when you're in your 20s, that's the prime of your life. That's when your body is going to be the healthiest and the strongest it will ever be. And in terms of like just biology, you know, if you didn't exercise or what have you, in general, you know, the strongest years of our life are between the ages of 18 and 25. Although she's 28 still, you know, I think most of us would say, especially those of us that are older, that our 20s, you know, is when we were able to sleep for 3 hours and party all night. And because your body's resilient, your body's strong. And it's so sad that she's in the prime of her life and this is where she's at, you know. So I don't know. And I know everybody says this, I really hope that she does get a wake-up call. I really hope that a light bulb turns on up there and she does someday come to a realization like, wow, what have I done? And has the courage and the maturity to look at what she has created and just, you know, just let it sink in and really think about it. So so she can be depressed and, you know, want to kill herself, but so she can really realize that everything in her life that she hates, she created. It was her doing. And to just have a moment of clarity and enlightenment and just decide, you know what, that's it, I'm done. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to turn this around. I think she needs to take a break from YouTube. I think, you know, and she'll still make money. People will still watch her old videos or what have you. You know, she'll still make money, I'm sure. But she needs to take a break and get away from a lot of the negativity that she gets. I mean, yes, it was self-inflicted, but she needs to get away from that and just focus on herself and her well-being. And I just think she just doesn't have the courage to do it. And she feels too buried underneath all her lies and her weight and her bad decisions. So, but I don't know. Amberlyn, if you are watching this, and I doubt you are because it's the Dinky channel, my channel is designed to help people like you that have severe limitations. I have exercises on this channel that you can do sitting down, that you can do from bed, exercises with equipment that you can do from home, really inexpensive equipment and things that you can buy to help you starting from where you're at with the limitations that you have now. And I recommend that you watch my video, How to Keep Yourself Active, or I forget what it's titled, but I'll try to remember to put it in the description. How to stay active when you're having a flare. And a flare-up meaning like if someone has fibromyalgia or lupus or what have you, they're, you know, having a really bad episode, they're in a lot of pain. And I just talk about really simple ways that you can still stay active if you're in pain or you're dealing with a lot of limitations. But that, you know, would be a good video for you to watch. My beginner playlist is basically just all exercises, you know, for people that are just starting and they have limitations and they need a place to start, you know. And so yeah, so you can start there. And you know, and again, you can do it in the privacy of your own home. Nobody has to know about it. You don't have to deal with the embarrassment of going to the gym, because that's something I also understand. And I am empathetic and compassionate towards that. I understand, you know, when someone's 600 pounds, sure, yeah, it is embarrassing to go to the gym. I get that, you know, but that's somewhere that you could start, you know. So anyway, guys, that is my take on Amberlyn Reid. And I hope you enjoyed hearing my perspective. Again, being somebody that has worked with people like her for the past 20 years and, you know, has just, you know, learned to understand, you know, their struggles, why they struggle. Most people that I've worked with that have severe struggles with their weight have had some type of abuse or tragedy that they have dealt with in their life. Most of them have. And it just, you know, triggers something in order for them to do something to help deal with the pain. And that's been the case with almost everybody I've worked with that is morbidly obese. Something really terrible happened to them at one point, you know, and it's something that they really had to work through, as well as, you know, improving their physical health and fitness. So, all right, guys, well, thanks for tuning in. I know this was a long video, and I know I still have a couple videos to do for my fat acceptance, and I'm sorry, I have been driving, and I have not been well. I know I say that a lot, but the past few days, I've been having a lot of pain. Well, the weather here in Vegas has been cold and windy, and anyone with fibromyalgia knows that the cold really affects us a lot. But I do want to get those out of the way so I can go back to doing my exercises and you know, the stuff that really benefits the chronic illness community, because I know I'm kind of going a little bit off track with these videos. So, all right, guys, well, thank you so much for your time and attention. I always appreciate it. Remember, protect yourself physically and emotionally, and don't forget, your health is your most valuable asset. Invest in it. Bye-bye.